The Bahamas Tonight, the Northern Edition, starts now.
What are they doing with the TV?
This is the Bahamas Tonight, the Northern Edition. Shashina Roll, as always, it is so great to have you with us. Topping the news, Prime Minister, the Right Honorable Perry Christie on Grand Bahama today for the handover of the new NEMA disaster warehouse on this island. Officials from the NEMA and the U.S. Embassy and the Northern Command joined the nation's chief for the event. Now we will have further details on this story later on in the newscast. As the government moves closer to legislating, debating, adopting, and enforcing disability legislation in this country, the Ministry of Social Services is ensuring that it makes its consultation process as wide as possible. Today, the Minister of Social Services and a team of officers made a stop in 8 Mile Rock where they held a forum to allow members of the disabled community to share their views. Charisma Robinson has this story.
Otis Latis knows all too well about the struggles of being a disabled person in this country. So when he and Kirkland Wildgoose learned about the landmark Persons with Disabilities Equal Opportunities Bill, they couldn't be happier.
Thank God we finally have our rights to be stand on our 2 feet and be respected as human beings. Yes, I'm disabled, but I'm no fool. Respect me for what I am, who I am.
Minister of Social Services Melanie Griffin is conducting wide consultations on the bill. The ministry wants to ensure, though, that disabled persons have their say.
The business community is being consulted, and the community of persons with disabilities being consulted. The insurance community is being consulted. We want everybody's input. And we say, Reverend Wallace, speak now or hereinafter. Hold your peace, because it's been long in coming, and we're not going to hold it up. We can't hold it up. But for the most part, I must say that all of those communities that I've spoken about, they have all been very, very receptive.
Minister Griffin says it's time for members of the disabled community to be taken off the back burner and be given the same treatment as their able-bodied counterparts.
We want to ensure that wherever there are persons with disabilities throughout the length and breadth of this country, that they are covered by this legislation and they receive the rights, true rights as citizens of the Bahamas, as true rights that any citizen of the Bahamas is entitled to.
Now the ministry will wrap up its consultation process by the end of this month and will have the bill before Parliament sometime in March. Charisma Robinson, ZNS Network News.
In our newscast last night, we reported on the work of the Genesis Academy here on Grand Bahama and the recent visit by co-chair of the Urban Renewal Program, Cynthia Mother Pratt. We displayed on screen for Genesis Academy a logo. Unfortunately, the logo was for the private school Genesis Academy in Nassau and not the Center for At-Risk Young Men here on Grand Bahama. We wish to point out that there is no affiliation between both schools, only a common name. ZNS News apologizes to the owners, operators, parents, and students of Genesis Academy Nassau for the error and the confusion and embarrassment caused by that error. The Royal Bahamas Police Force paying respects to a fallen retired senior officer. John Davis Roll has this story.
The top brass of the Royal Bahamas Police Force on hand as they paid tribute to the grieving family and honored the life and times of a fallen officer, the late Prince Bannister. Some 400 officers from throughout the Grand Bahama District began queuing up shortly after 9 Thursday morning for the special viewing at Gerald Bartlett Police Headquarters. Among them was the Deputy Commissioner of Police, Quinn McCartney.
On behalf of Commissioner Greenslade, who could not be here this morning, I just want to offer condolences to you all on behalf of the Royal Bahamas Police Force. At this time, this is an opportunity to say farewell to our colleague and their family member, of course.
Officer in charge of Grand Bahama, Emmerich Seymour, says it is on the shoulders of the late Prince Bannister that the Royal Bahamas Police Force now stands.
It is a sad day for us, sad day in the life of the police force, and of course, sad day for the Bannister family, as you will. a former retired DSP, Prince Bannister, who served extensively throughout the Grand Bahama District. As a matter of fact, he's been a member of the organization for the past 32 years. And he's died, and of course he will be laid to rest sometime tomorrow. Within the Royal Bahama Police Force, as we would have done in recent times. We're paying tribute to him here, in that we are affording him full military services, military services for the time he spent with us.
Seymour says Bannister has left a legacy that all police officers should follow.
I can say, I've known him personally, and I can tell you he has left a lasting legacy on all of us, on me personally. He was proud of me, because he would have seen me growing from a constable to assistant commissioner. And of course, he always called me and told me that. And so, but he would have left an indelible mark, an indelible impression on all of our lives. Integrity and credibility is non-negotiable. And I can tell you, he came in his organization with his credibility intact, and he left with it intact. Okay, an upright man, of course. And it's so important for us as the organization to really follow after that example. And so I commend his life to all of my colleagues, all of my young officers. Okay, I'm patting the life after Prince Bannister, and of course he'll be just okay.
Former retired Deputy Superintendent of Police Prince Bannister died at the age of 78. Joan Davis-Roll, Saturdays Network News.
Stay with us. The Bahamas Tonight, the Northern Edition continues right after this.
Bringing news that matters to you. You're watching the Bahamas Tonight Northern Edition.
Welcome back. The nation's leader on Grand Bahama today for the official handover of NEMA's disaster warehouse in the Hawksbill community. The mega investment represents the partnership that exists between the Bahamian and the U.S. government. Sabrina Brown has this story.
Mr. the Right Honorable Perry Christie was joined by officials of the United States, parliamentarians, other government officials, and a cross-sector of society for the official handing over of the Grand Bahama Disaster Warehouse. The $600,000, 3,000 square foot disaster relief facility was constructed in Hawksbill with the assistance of the U.S. government. The project was some 4 years in the making, and Prime Minister Christie says it highlights the significance of the relationship between the Bahamas and the United States.
There is no doubt in my mind that once we position the relationship between ourselves in the right way and in the right context, that there'll even be greater understanding and a greater willingness to even do more than they are doing now towards helping us for this particular reason. The stability of the Bahamas is connected to the security of the United States of America. And when people are unemployed, like coming out of the recession, over 20% unemployment of young Bahamians, over 20% young Bahamians unemployed. Unemployment in that context is an incubator for crime. One goes with the other. The stability of our country, therefore, ought to be a paramount concern to the United States of America.
General Charles Jacoby Jr., commander of NORAD and U.S. Northcom, was on hand for the handing over ceremony.
Our Northern Command has almost the exact same responsibilities as Captain Russell has, and that's to make sure that in extremis that our citizens know that they can count. They can count on the government. They can count on help when something happens that exceeds their capacity to care for themselves. And how important logistics, on-hand logistics are, supplies and equipment and training to meet the needs of our citizens at the time of their greatest needs.
Minister for Grand Bahama Dr. Michael Darville talked about plans for a mandatory evacuation system on this island.
The government, along with NEMA, intends to implement mandatory evacuation orders in low-lying areas throughout Grand Bahama in order to decrease the chance of injury or death in the event of any vulnerable or disaster. With these adjustments and the additional gift that has been donated to us by the U.S. government, I am certain that residents from east to west Grand Bahama will be better prepared, protected, equipped in the event of a disaster.
Prime Minister Christie and other dignitaries were given a tour of the facility following the ceremony. Sabrina Brown, Saturdays Network News.
It's time for our on-campus series. Tonight, a student of St. George's High School gets an opportunity to serve as a reporter for a day. 12th grader Christopher Adderley takes a look at stem cell therapy, why the controversy, and the need for regulation.
Stem cell research has been going on for over 50 years, yet there is still a great controversy surrounding the subject. A specialized cell is any normal body cell that has a specific purpose, whereas stem cells have the capacity to regenerate and multiply. Orthopedic surgeon Dr. Freeman Lockhart says despite the controversy, the potential for stem cells is vast.
So on a daily basis, these stem cells from a particular tissue are used to repair cells that are otherwise lost through just rapid turnover, like blood cells or cells that are destroyed, like the lining of your gut. Every time food passes through, you lose cells. Your skin, you lose cells constantly. So there is a inherent supply of stem cells in all of these various tissue.
Although stem cells have the potential to save lives, many are not prepared to embrace embryonic stem cells.
And what we think about is, just to put it bluntly, is that you're killing embryos. You know, you think about stem cells, everybody know that the embryo originate from basically a group of stem cells, and therefore the embryo can provide stem cells for researchers to go ahead and, you know, do their necessary research. However, when that happens, it happens at the expense of the embryo.
The topic of stem cell research is a major topic of debate in the Bahamas. And as investors express an interest in opening research centers in the Bahamas, there is a call for Bahamians to become more aware of what stem cell research is all about and safeguard themselves from possible exploitation. Dr. Lockhart says although stem cell therapy can bring about an economic boost, regulation is the key.
An area like the Bahamas seems attractive where our regulations, we don't have very much regulations in place, okay? They would stay away from more developed nations like our neighbor to the north, the U.S., because the regulations are so severe. And there are a lot of do's and don'ts. And the preference would be to come someplace like the Bahamas, where the regulations are a lot less lax. And what we can fall into if we don't implement and have regulation in place to govern this is you can very easily and very quickly get stigmatized as a nation who allow persons to come in and pretty much do whatever they want.
Dr. Lockhart says that it is imperative that the government takes the leading role as a regulatory board in order to prevent the country from developing a bad reputation as a lax destination for stem cell therapy. For ZNS On-Campus Report, I am Christopher Adderley.
Good job, Christopher. Now, this Valentine's Day, a group of local entertainers are planning to show their love for the culture. The group is organizing an all-Bahamian night at Club Utopia on Friday. Joan Davis-Roll has this story.
It is being billed as Bahamian culture at its best, as local Bahamian performers are preparing to showcase their talents by singing their way into the hearts of patrons during a grand Valentine extravaganza. The mastermind behind bringing the plethora of talent together is performer Tim Fire Forbes. He says he's thrilled about the upcoming event.
I'm promoting Bahamians, you know, and I want everybody to come out and really enjoy what Bahamian music is all about, you know, and, you know, it's international, not just for Bahamians to hear, but anybody national out there. They should be part of this and share us on. You know, the guys who I have on the show, they're awesome. I just want everybody to know it's time for you to pull together Bahamian artists.
The show has been 1 year in the making and is a night that many upcoming Bahamian stars are expected to shine. Bahamian superstars like Super D, Ja Troy, and A-Max. Those performing say prepare for an evening of love, good music, and a Valentine to remember. We got a sneak preview of what's to come.
But it's all about love, hugging and kissing and squeezing, all about love. super decent. So.
She's always blessing me, yes. She bring out the best in me. She bring out the best, she bring out the best, she bring out the bubbles galore, baby girls pierce out. Hey, hot bubble bath in the jacuzzi tub, and it wouldn't be complete without them soothing salts.
Why do people talk other people business when you know they got their own? I bet you don't know the bank been around them, trying to take away their home. Did you hear the news just the other day? The Pope gave up his throne.
Up and yawning, gotta get up to get to work. You're crawling, yeah, it's swinging, you're being out partying, and if you don't come out, you'll be missing it.
Joan Davis Roll, Saturday Network News.
Tonight, as we wrap up our Valentine's special series, owner of Signature Choices talk about unique ways to spice up the night of love.
It's just one day left before the big V-Day, a day that is all about love and romance. Owner of Signature Choices, Alec Thompson, says, while chocolates and flowers are the usual, she believes spicing things up can add more passion and intimacy.
What that means is people aren't going all out with flowers and all out with going to dinner. What they're doing is focusing on spending time alone together. So we've been doing a lot of sales on lingerie. We've been doing a lot of sales on our teddy bears, our intimate items as well, because it's all about the novelties as well.
She says purchasing gifts should be a personal shopping experience where that special someone is taken fully into consideration.
Come in, take your time, and find the perfect item. Think about your person's size. And you know what? If you don't know exactly what size they wear, we'll actually help you pick that out. For ladies or for men. We cater to plus sizes as well. And we also have robes. We have pajamas. We have boxers. We have a wide assortment of things. So we let customers know to come on in and we give them great ideas. We have, for example, our rose petals. We have our floating candles. We have these wonderful new heart-scented petals. They're fabric, but when you put them in the water, they actually dissolve. So that's a great item that's been selling very well for us for Valentine's. For the men, we're letting ladies know men just want to feel like a king. So whatever you do, make him feel like a king. Cook him dinner instead of taking him out. Wear something sexy and serve him dinner in that. Spend the evening together. If he's a homebody or he's a romantic, do all those things. Light candles. Our scented candles have been flying off the shelves.
And while some people believe Valentine's Day should be every day, Alex disagrees. She believes that February 14th is special.
Like we tell people, Lover's Day is every day. And yes, what they have done is made a special day for people to focus on it. And for all those customers or all those people who always say, oh, Valentine's, schmalentine's, guess what? Is there one day out of the year that you go all out for the person that you love? If not, this is why Valentine's Day was selected. It's fun. It's like your birthday. Just go all out. Buy the sexy lingerie, buy the candies, buy the chocolates, buy the candles. Go all out to let them know that you love them 110%. And on this particular day, you want to show them that.
Stay with us. Ricardo Lightborn is up next with sports.
Hey everybody, welcome to Sports. I'm Ricardo Lightborn. Sports Night dedicated to Mrs. Ford, who's visiting us from New Providence, and to the chef over there, Coco's, the Treasure Key Abaco. He's the maker of Freddy's pepper sauce. I'm going to let Sheena have some of that tonight. Come blow her head off. The Freeport Rugby Club hosted the Bailey Rugby Club out of New Providence in the Bahamas Cup match, and this was a tough one in the scrum. The Freeport Rugby Club hosted Bailey out of New Providence in the Bahamas Cup clash, and this was a tussle from start to finish. 38-25, and the scoring is going up, folks. Bailey with the ball and attacking. Freeport with a good defense snuffed the run on the play. Bailey again looking to make a run at Freeport. That was not the case, and once again, the defense of Freeport stepped up. Freeport with the ball now. Watch the passing. This is called determination and the will to get the try, and does. 45-25, Freeport is on the scoreboard. Then the game simply got physical. No advantage on either side. Freeport playing on their wide pitch and the speed on the wing. Some nifty moves as well. And Freeport with another try and feeling pretty good. 50-25, and they lead. Bailey players are winded. Belu got their second win and took the action to Freeport and the speed on the play, but Freeport able to match it. Belu kept the press on, and they found some seams in Freeport defense. Good speed as well. They get the try. Belu making a run, 50-32 to score in the game. Freeport went to the power game and the scrum to work on the clock. But Freeport was not done. Watch the passing, heads-up play, and also the wings and forwards moving. Freeport with the final try of the game, 55-32 in the win. Captain Brad Culmer said the team preparation made the difference.
Play great. Guys finally starting to come out to practice. All in all, it's just a great team effort. Everybody was a full team participation. Very proud of our guys.
Wide pitch, the speed, and everything else came together. We saw some very good runs in terms of your players today. It shows that this team is coming together.
Yep, full swing. The last couple of weeks, we've had a good turnaround in practice, and it showed the practice we could beat anybody.
Belu took the loss in stride. Team captain Jose Vina was disappointed, but fast moving game.
Freeport plays a very wide running game. They clearly showed today they were in a much better shape than we were. They outrun us most of the game. That's why the high score difference. I think Freeport really did an outstanding game, showing some big change in their players. A lot of their traditional players have gone away, but they managed to replace them with young guys who are really doing well, really good running.
55-32 of final. Freeport and Belu split in the series. Well, folks, the Derek Bookie-Nesbitt Richie Adley Senior High School Boys Finals underway. Game 1 in the books. Let's take you out and see exactly how things went. The Tabernacle Falcons and Egmont Blue Jays on the court. Game 1 of the Senior Boys Series, and the Falcons got off first. The Blue Jays with the rock in the paint, the hustle, and the basket. Egmont Blue Jays can run the floor, and it showed early in the ball game. The Falcons of Tabernacle simply took exception and showed that they can also run the floor. Robert Joseph netted 18 points and Melvin Elsey with 15. Coach Bain, being Coach Bain, he's on pins and needles. Coach Quentin Hall was cool and composed. The reason? His Blue Jays can play and some good passing. Akeem Stewart with 10, DeAndre Jones at 8. Tabernacle came away with a 62-42 win and a one-game lead in the series. Raheem Lang chipped in with some 12 points in the ball game. Tabernacle in the driver's seat of the Senior Boys Finals. Egmont Blue Jays need one to stay alive in the series. And all 6 teams going to be going to Hugh Campbell next week, and Kiana Miller says she wants to go too, but she celebrated her birthday tonight. That's a look at sports, everybody.